Welcome back to Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. This one is entitled Long Beach. Now you might be saying Long Beach. There's actually a number of Long Beaches along the United States. There's one in California. You say Long Beach. Oh, California. No, this is Long Island. All right, that's where this Long Beach is. And we all know it is Long Beach, and we don't think anything of that California one because this is New York. So that's how that goes. This is actually a pretty involved one, so much so that I wrote down a number of points just for this one. I usually have a list like this with me of like 5 or 6 different stories I want to tell. I'm just telling this one today. And I'm getting this out here now because it is relevant to the past videos of the week where I was ill with the stomach virus, because this kind of sort of a little ties in with that. So anyway, here we go. This is harking back to the summer of 1997, which is going to be almost 26 years ago. That's scary. Anyways, summer of 97, and I was still at my parents' house. Obviously, it was the summer, it was hot, and we were not allowed to have air conditioning because my dad is cheap. Okay, really what that means is if my sister and I wanted to sleep in air conditioning, my dad was too cheap to run 2 air conditioners, so we had to sleep in the same room and use sleeping bags, because that way he can get a 2-for-1 special, so at least it wouldn't feel like it was a total waste of money. Okay. So anyways, that's what we did. We went into the other room upstairs in my parents' house that my grandmother would stay in on the weekends, and we would sleeping bag it in there. Separate sleeping bags. So let's don't do that. So we did. My sister had to get up early-ish, I think. I don't know. And that morning, for whatever reason, I decided to sleep in a little late. Now, a little late is, for me, that could be pushing 6:30 a.m. I'm up early. Really early. These days, 5-ish, I'm usually up, somewhere in there. And start getting around to everything by around 5:30. Sometimes I'll push it to 6. Depends, you know. And it's not like I have to get up, go to work. Sorry. But still, I'm up early. The saying, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man. Early to bed, early to rise, and probably spent all his money on something. One of those. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. We all know that. Okay. Anyway, moving on. 6 a.m., and I decided to kind of kick this till about 6:30. 6 a.m., the guy 2 doors down on the block came, and my dad was up already, and he came to the door, and hard to explain this guy. The family that's there, okay, the house that's there, the family that was there was not there when I was born. There was a different family there that stayed till I was maybe 4 years old. And they were an old couple. I don't know if they decided they were going to move to like Georgia or something like that. I really don't know. They were nice old people, and that's all I could tell you about it. And I was sad to see them go even back then. So these new people move in, and they were not good, not bad, but we eventually took a liking to them. Hard to explain. Around this time, my dad decided that he was going to redo, or not redo, but finish his basement. And the guy over there did construction work, so he said he could help him. Well, he also had two kids, two boys, and the youngest one was like 2 years younger than me, and the other one was maybe a year older than me, not really sure. Something in there. Either which way, the younger son was obese. As a child, he was always the fat kid. Not just the fat kid, but the fat kid. He grew into being morbidly obese later on in life. But we'll get to that later on. Quickly, he and I would play as kids as our dads worked on the basement, and the guy is kind of a yutz, so to speak. He has two hearing aids, so he can't hear himself talk. He can't hear himself think, and when he talks, so he's a bit hard to understand. He thinks you know what he says. He has no idea what you say, so he's kind of like a yutz. But he does have the brute strength. He's like an ox, where he can pound a sledgehammer for hours and not get tired and kind of stuff like that. So he's got that going for him. Well, anyway, as kids, unfortunately, we were young, and I and the younger kids sort of had a falling out. I don't know what it was, but we sort of had a falling out, and then my dad was like, this guy's an idiot, and whatever, screw you, get off the job, and that was that. And we didn't talk to them for years. But then later on, we started talking again, and this was around this time, or maybe a couple of years before, and I had seen the fat kid again. His name is Nick. I don't want to call him the fat kid. It's not really nice. So his name was Nick, and I saw him a number of times, and we hung out just outside a couple times, and it was nice, sort of catching up for a bit here and there. It was just kind of nice seeing each other, that we've lived so close all these years and that. Well, anyway, the guy came 6 a.m. that morning and knocked on the door and asked my dad if I could help him. Okay. So I get up around 6:30. I go downstairs. My dad's there, and he says, the guy 2 doors down wants to see you. I said, I didn't do nothing. He said, I don't know. It's hard to understand. Something about his motorhome broke down and driving somewhere. All right, I'll go see him. So I get myself together quick, and I go run down the block, and I said, what's going on? So he explained to me that he had a motorhome, which I knew about, because it was always in front of his house, and they took it on vacation, and they were somewhere in New Jersey, and the motorhome broke down bad. The story I was told was that it was not going to be a quick fix or an overnight fix. It was going to take time to either get parts or be very expensive to fix, or I don't know what went wrong. But long and short of it was going to be a long time and a lot of money to get the motorhome fixed. So they better just call their vacation short and screw it for now. So they went and they got a rental car and put their 2 dogs, 2 kids, and 5 birds in the car and drove home from New Jersey. So that's when I saw this odd looking car out front, and I said, oh, okay, that explains that car. So what's the deal? So he says, you go with Nick in my car, I'll take the rental, and we're going to this place in Jersey. And I'm saying to myself, what? A rental car? Like you go to Enterprise or Avis or Hertz, any of these car rental agencies, you can get a car in California, return it to New York. They don't like when you do that, but sometimes that's too bad. And especially if you inform them of it ahead of time, they'll get everything set in their system where, okay, New York's going to get an extra car, but California is going to be short, so we got to see about filling that in. You know, and obviously you're not going to shuffle another car from New York back to California, so they got to work things out as far as that goes to get an even distribution of cars where they need. So, this place, whatever it was, and I don't know what kind of rental agency it was, the car had to be returned to that location. I don't know. Maybe because the guy's a Yutz that... But anyway, that was the deal. So, here's the keys to my car. Here's Nick. And follow me. That was it. Okay, I wasn't given an address written down or anything. All I knew is we were going to New Jersey, and I knew the general way to New Jersey. How the fuck this worked on the roads, and you think about, like, how do you do this without punching this into your phone or a GPS or anything like that? It's almost impossible to think of that today. But, hey, listen, Gen X, this is how we did shit. Okay, we didn't have all this shit, and we didn't need it. So yes, it can be done. The comforts we have today like that are such comforts that you almost can't live without them. I mean, obviously you don't need a GPS or whatever to get to the grocery store, but still it's, you know, you want it available to you when going to someplace that is unfamiliar. All right, anyways, we're on the road. I don't know how, but we make it to New Jersey. Along the road, I just remember the guy in the rental, and I remember him telling me, if anything happens to this rental car, I'm fucked. So now he's changing lanes into one lane, and a car, well, we'll go this way. He is changing lanes into this lane, and this car is going into this lane, and the cars went like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah, if anything happens to that car, good thing you were driving that, not me. Clearly both of them fucked that up. Anyways, we get to Jersey, we get to this rental place. Nick and I don't know what we talked about in the car much. Maybe we had little talks here and there, like we talked for 5 minutes and then we had nothing else to say, and then something else would come to mind 10 minutes later kind of thing. I don't really remember. But anyway, we drove to Jersey, we got to the rental place, he returns his rental car, and now we get back in the same car I just drove, which, by the way, was a 94, I believe, Plymouth Acclaim. You're going to have to Wikipedia that. Now, I'm not one for American cars, but I really have to say that for some reason, I kind of liked that car. It was just the way it was appointed was plain but nice, and it really drove pretty smooth. I was pretty impressed by that. Now, as far as how long it would last and hold up and be a nightmare later on, of course, that's what you get later on with American, but sorry. Anyway, we get back in that car. We go to the place that is repairing the motorhome, and this motorhome is up on a lift. It's it looked bad. I didn't even know what I was looking at, but it looked bad. One thing I did notice in particular was the alignment of the front wheels, and I think this is normal. There's the caster and camber, and then the toe in. Okay, like that. The wheels on this were, if they're perfectly straight this way, were way towed in. I mean, at like an angle like that. But I only think that was normal because when the weight of the vehicle gets on it, it straightens out. But I'm not certain on that. Either that or something was taken apart and that's why it was like that. I don't know, but anyway, I don't think I ever saw the motorhome again since that day. So I guess maybe it was too expensive for him to repair it. Okay. Anyway, he says, all right, now we go home. So we just spent 2 and change hours going to Jersey. An hour to an hour and a half dicking around at the rental car spot and then looking at the motorhome. And now we get back on the road to go right back home. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Now he's driving, the father. So I'm like, all right, I just got to come for the ride. So we start driving. There is traffic like you've never seen before. At the time, they were doing highway construction during the day. Excuse me, that does not really happen around here anymore during the day. It's usually done during the nighttime hours because they can close various lanes a lot easier and disrupt a lot less traffic. But by the same token, they also have to pay the night differential. So it's kind of a win for the people all around, even though we're paying for it a lot worse because of the night diff. But anyway, that's how it is. It's probably safer as well, so they're not there. Because, you know, whenever you've gone past a construction site during the day, there are 9 guys standing around doing nothing and 1 guy doing all the work. And that right there are your tax dollars at work. Okay, so they were doing construction during the day. On this highway, they had like 2 lanes closed. Then I think there was like an accident on top of it. And then we were like diverted onto the shoulder, shut down for a half hour. It was just fucking hell. It took 3 to 3.5 hours to get back. Along the way is this, as far as I'm concerned, not so happy place called Staten Island. Part of New York. I have no use for Staten Island, but it's there. So Staten Island, we stopped there. Probably stopped in Staten Island, A, because it was on the way, and B, because this guy also happens to own another property or home in Staten Island. Now, I don't remember stopping at it, so I think we just kind of went there because I live here too, and we're passing through, and we stopped at a McDonald's, and he bought me lunch for being so nice to drive to Jersey. Okay, I wasn't looking for money or anything. I just did it to be the good neighbor kid, you know? And I had just gotten my license, too. I think the summer before. Yeah. That's correct. So it was, I was still a pretty new driver, but I had my shit under control. But anyways, we stopped, we ate at McDonald's, and we got back in the car. Now we have to go from Staten Island back, and it's still a bit of a ride. We're in the car. I'm not feeling any good. I wasn't feeling like stopping at McDonald's to begin with. He didn't give me a choice in the matter. And I don't know, just something like I wasn't really, oh, come on, have something. You want anything else? I'm like, no, that's more than enough, thanks. You know, didn't sit right. I don't know. Wasn't feeling great. Get back in the car. More traffic, more traffic, more traffic, more traffic. We finally get home. I start walking back down the block, 2 houses. My sister comes out. How she knew that I was home, I don't know. But my sister comes out and she says, "Where were you?" I said, "What do you mean?" "I was in New Jersey." "What the hell were you doing there?" "We're going to Long Beach." "What?" "You said you wanted to go to Long Beach." We had planned this thing, but there was no... I don't remember us ever setting a particular date and time, you know, hammer and chiseled into stone as far as when we were going. You know? But apparently it was this day. I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't want to go. I'm not feeling that great. No, come on. We're going to go. Let's go. All right, let me just go to the bathroom first. So I unloaded that McDonald's in a quick blast, if you know what I'm talking about. Still didn't feel much better. I'm really not feeling much better, but come on, we have to go to Long Beach. I don't know. I'm really not into it. No, come on. Oh, fuck. So now we get in the car. I think my sister drove now, because I said I drove enough today. And we go with XJ81X, as a matter of fact. And we head down to Long Beach. We go to Long Beach to go to the boardwalk that's there. At the time, we could go there. Remember, this was 26 years ago. And find a parking spot. That is an impossibility today. With the amount more cars on the road in 26 years, there isn't a chance in hell that we could possibly get a parking spot anywhere. Well, anyway, this is the half point of the story. And I want to just check the time on the camera. Let me just see. Yeah, I think we're good. Shouldn't be too much longer. So, let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. No, we got that. Okay, so we go to Long Beach. So my sister drives. We go to Long Beach and just sort of walk along the boardwalk, hang out on the boardwalk, lean against the railing, and look at the water. Obviously, you then have the beach itself and the water. And sometimes we go down onto the beach, sometimes not. Did we? I think maybe for a little bit, but again, I'm still not feeling quite right. Or whatever. Anyway, I seem to remember going back up onto the boardwalk, and I feel like something was thrown at me. And I'm like, that figures. And something in my mind said, I bet there's some kids from school that are like, hey, it's Jay. You know, because they were all total assholes in my grade. Turns out nobody was there. But there was a bird variant that shit on me. That's what it was. That was nice. So, I don't remember what I did because of that. Maybe we found some, half-used napkins in a garbage or something. I don't know what we did, but something. Anyway, at that point, I was really not feeling too well at all. And I said, guys, we got to go. I told you this was not a good day. I'm really not feeling good. We'll do this again. Okay, we'll do this again. We got to go. God, such a pain in the ass. I don't understand. My sister complains the entire way home. I don't understand. He said, we're going to Long Beach and then blah, 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 blah. I said, don't you understand I'm not feeling well? But this is how she is. Just yatta, on and on and on, and harps on the same thing for hours. We get back to my parents' house. It is now close to 5 p.m. Okay, close to 5 p.m. Could have been 4:30. I don't remember. Something in there. And I'm feeling terrible. And my sister and ex-Joe81X are there. I said, guys, I gotta lay down. I'm not feeling well. All right, so I go to the bathroom and unload again. And then I go to my bedroom and I go to lay down. And I lay down for maybe a half hour. They come knocking on my door. Joe and I are going to Taco Bell. Do you want to go? No. Not at all. No way. You have fun. Good thing I didn't go for two reasons. One, because of the way I was feeling. If I ate that, I probably would have been like what the Tasmanian devil looks like after he eats a stick of dynamite. And then the dynamite explodes in him. Okay, that's probably what would have happened to me. That would have been awful bad. They went out, and the Taco Bell was the next town over. Okay, it was like 2 miles. A good solid 2 miles. Something in there. So how long does it take in town to go 2 miles? Really, I don't know, 5 minutes? 7 minutes? Not long. So they get in the car and they go to Taco Bell. In that 5 to 7 minutes, it went from a sunny day to really gray skies, really dark clouds rolling in, thunder, lightning, and rain pouring like you've never seen, all in a matter of like 10 fucking minutes. Holy shit. I had heard this and I'm like, well, really good thing I didn't go to Taco Bell. Sucks for them. But I said, let me kind of get up. So I get up, I go in the living room, and I run into my dad there, and he's like, what's going on? I told him about the story earlier in the day with the motorhome and returning the rental car, and how Lisa and Joe went to Taco Bell, and we'd mentioned it's really, really raining. And my dad was sort of leaning up against the wall where there happened to be a lighted light switch, and the light was off, so the switch was lighted. And right at that moment, we lost power. And my dad looks at the light switch and he goes, whoops. It was just kind of funny the way it was done. I don't know. So now we have no power on top of that. But back in these days, we still had copper telephone line service, and now the phone rings. It's Joe's mother. She knew that he was coming over to my house and that we were then going out, and I guess was concerned about all the rain and everything. It's like the streets were flooded everywhere. It was a torrential downpour kind of thing. And I said, yeah, my sister and Joe went to Taco Bell in Franklin Square in this rain, some shit like that. I said, listen, I haven't heard from them, so I think they made it to the restaurant fine based on when they left and when it started raining, but they might be like stuck in there. I don't know if they lost power because Joe's mother had lost power also. Let's see if there's anything else here. Right, got that. So anyway, I'm still really not feeling well, and I said, look, I said to my dad, I said, I'm not feeling good. He's like, what's the matter? I don't know. My stomach is like really off or whatever. Well, lay down and whatever. So I laid down, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything. My stomach was just bothering me. It was churning and just like a bunch of pain, and I can't even tell you how bad it was. It was like a good old-fashioned stomach ache. And it was all from that goddamn McDonald's I didn't want in the first place earlier in the day that I kind of had no choice going into. I certainly wouldn't have stopped at a McDonald's in Staten Island, of all fucking dirty places. But anyway, that was the deal. So now I'm sick from it, and I'm laying down. I may have gotten up one more time, I think. And my mother was around at this point. And she's like, yeah, just lay down, and this will pass. Here, I'll make it nice for you. Remember, we still had no power. So I think it's like 7 p.m. at this point. It's kind of getting dark, if not already dark. So she got a candle, and we put that on a little plate. And I had a box fan in my room. And we placed the candle on top of the box fan. Not a good place for it. This is my mother. But then again, the door was going to be closed. The cat couldn't get in that way. And I know the candle is there. It's not going to fall by itself. I don't think the fan was on, so that wasn't a factor either. And I laid there, and I had a portable CD player that I had been given just a couple of months prior from the secretary in the high school library. Why would she give me that? I'm going to tell that old war story another time, but it was for volunteering basically for the 4 years I was in high school in the library during my lunch period, and doing tremendous amounts of work for them. They appreciated me over the years, and she, and of course the librarian as well, felt compelled to give me a gift when I left high school. I subsequently invited both her and the librarian to my wedding, and they came to my wedding and gave me yet more gifts. But that's another story entirely. Anyway, I laid there and I listened to a Billy Joel CD. Can't remember which one. But I listened to a Billy Joel CD. I had gotten out of the library, because you could borrow stuff like that from the library. And somehow I got that. I don't know. So I listened to that maybe a few times with the candle burning and no power. After an entire day of hell, my stomach hurts like fucking hell. And I laid there from like 7 to 11. And somewhere around 11-ish, I was feeling a bit better. I got up. I blew out the candle. I brought it back to the kitchen where it normally would be. And I was feeling a lot better. And I think we had gotten power back by then. And that really is the end of the story. So much happened in that one day coupled with this stomach ache on top of that, I can't even tell you what a day that was. And the pain, like, that might have been the first, like, real stomach ache I had ever gotten. God, they are fucking horrible. I have never, ever. I think when I first had trouble with my gallbladder, I had gotten a stomach ache the month before. Like, a solid month before. And that fucked me up for, like, a couple days. It was just awful. That was not really a stomach ache. That was the start of the gallbladder trouble. That was a warning that I didn't see. So that's what that was. And then when it felt coming on again a month later, you couldn't even imagine how bad that was. I think I told everything yes. So that's really it. The stomach aches, I think those were the 3, plus this one I just had recently, are maybe the 4 that I've ever had in my life. Man, they rank up there in some of the top fucking things I never, ever want to get. Really horrible, but what a fucking day that was. Going all the way to Jersey and back, having some poison McDonald's, getting a stomach ache, ruining this Long Beach deal that would have, I couldn't, it was sort of like, it was one of those things where I kind of couldn't say no to the neighbor guy, because it was 7 a.m. by the time we left practically. So I'm like, I kind of knew about the Long Beach thing, but I figured, we'll be back by 2. How long does it fucking take to go to Jersey and back? It should be 2 hours each way. At the most, more like an hour and a half. But just the traffic and fucking everything else. Oh, what a shit show that day was. And then getting shit on at Long Beach by a bird. What a whole fucking day that was, man. Anyway, that's going to wrap this one up. So I thank you very kindly for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. And stay tuned for the next installment of Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.